Wow, I can't believe I didn't set the date of the release and it was released in 19th of October. Well, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. I've been watching Going 17 for at least 3 years, and also have been making covers for at least the same amount. Over those years, I've learned, I failed, and I've grown, and I've also procrastinated, but somewhere along those lines, something big was bound to happen. I got bored. Yeah, you'd never guess. After consistently making covers both good and bad, I've discovered a formula that would make making covers easier. That's a mouthful. You'd never thought you'd be able to make formula from music covers, but here we are. Basically, the challenge ended there, and I have to admit it was mostly because I was choosing the less challenging songs, like full rap songs, for example. That makes me suffer intensely, or Hall of Fame. Yeah, 2023 was where I started to branch out the genres that I choose to challenge myself, essentially. But since 2023, I've decided to create this whole special album thingy called Symphony Number One Kingdom, which wasn't the best work, but it's still one of my good ones. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's very sad. But that wasn't what I'm trying to say. What I meant was, during the time I made Kingdom, I thought to myself, what if I made my own songs?
Oh my god! Wow!
It's not a new concept for me. I've been making my own songs since, I don't know, 10? And throughout the university, my job was to basically make songs for film, and ads, and corporate, and everything. That was a job I thought of pursuing before COVID destroyed everything. But even though that wasn't a new concept entirely, I wasn't used to making standalone songs. I had to have some kind of picture or animation on the screen and compose based on that. And storyline. Storyline is very important. This is where Going 17 comes in. And also Halloween, because this whole thing came into fruition like a month and a half ago, and I've been playing catch up with the deadlines. And the funniest part was definitely not putting the release date in 31st October, so the song came out in 19th. To those of you who frequently look at my Spotify profile, you've got 13 days early access. To those of you who haven't, well, it's time to listen to it now. Since I've made Symphony Number One Kingdom, I wanted to do something similar but in a truer fashion. Basically, kind of like mimicking classical formats and forms, but I kind of suck at it. So rather than trying to make sonata forms and everything, I just said I'm gonna make movements and did just that. I didn't take any other things in mind. That's why it's a whole song with 3 movements. Well, the second movement was kind of like the sonata form, but that's not really important. The Other World is a 3-movement song inspired by going... What am I saying? The Other World is a 3-movement song inspired by Going 17's original series, Trap. That one horror thing 17 did and caused a lot of laughs, fear, and suspense. I was super scared during the first part, laughed a lot on the second part, and was thoroughly at the edge of my seat on the third part. It was a great episode, and I wanted to convey that through music. Hide and Seek's main inspiration is when Jonghan sang that Hide and Seek song. The melody itself was exceptionally haunting, and when played in a scary setting, it's even more haunting, and it's simple enough to use as a main motif. Oh, and also in this song, I'd like to stress a really important thing. Silence is an instrument. Like I've said multiple times, at least in my head, silence is a very powerful thing. If used correctly, it could create a huge impact to your song. Imagine going from extremely noisy to suddenly extremely silent. It's quite a huge contrast, and as I also like to say, contrast is everything in music. The whole movement is basically just mimicking someone playing hide and seek in an extremely abandoned building where it's silent and everyone's just like creeping, trying to find hiding places, finding each other, and finding zombies in the end. That's why the last part, the beat changed a bit from the silent suspense to the usual video game kind of suspense. It is also the motif or melody for the third movement, which if you watch the episode, it is about them fighting the zombies. The second movement is the most different out of all three movements. It's in 6/8 time signature, which is kind of like waltz, and it's also, in my opinion, a very jumpy and bouncy and fun time signature, while the other two is a 4/4, which is like very common. It also has a completely different mood and the most different motif out of all of them. The idea behind this is basically, since they're pretending to become zombies, they're going into the world of zombies. And it's a whole different world with different rules and different vibes, which is why Play Pretend is the most different out of all of them. It is also, in my opinion, the most fantasy sounding, which kind of fits since they're transported into another world. The main inspiration for the third movement is Wonu, and that excitement and calmness he has while shooting the zombies. Someone in the comments mentioned that this must be a great experience for Wonu because this feels like every zombie game he's played. And it kind of clicked in my brain that yes, it does feel like an RPG shooting game. And I wanted to incorporate that game sounding suspenseful soundtrack kind of thing, so I did the most basic suspenseful game soundtrack I could think of. That is a really, like, that is a mouthful. The main hide and seek motif is back to, keep the thing running, and it's back to 4/4 because even though they're still in the world of zombies, they're not pretending to be one. They're humans, basically, who's trying to go back to the human world. Overall, the whole song has been an entire journey, but believe me, the hardest part wasn't to make the song, but to animate the whole thing. Yes, I drew everything by myself, including the thumbnails. Granted, I did trace a little bit, but I had to still animate for everything, basically. That's why not a lot of them are full-sized humans and just random faceless, limbless figures. Hey, I'm not an artist, okay? I'm a musician, a composer, a music producer, whatever you want to call it. So I think that the quality of the drawing is good enough. Yeah, basically this took an entire month of my time and chasing deadlines and being haunted by them, and mostly because of drawing. So please do listen to it and stream it. It's already available since 19th November, so do listen to it. As per usual, like and subscribe, and comment down below what other Going 17 or variety show you'd like me to make soundtracks of. I'm excited to keep on doing this and I want to experiment more, so please comment down below and give suggestions to me. This has been Philly Music, and I will see you next time. Goodbye! That's a cool effect, right?